Hello, I'm Marty here at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. December's been a great month and we've had some very enlightening interviews. What better way to close out another month and a year actually than speaking with a gentleman and friend of mine that's in the industry with us. Rodrigo is a regional facilities manager with a national sourcing company in the light industrial arena. His story is one of many that came to warehousing from other industries. He started out in our field as general labor, and through dedication, self-education to the task, and motivation, turned that job into a successful and rewarding career. Rodrigo, welcome to WAOC. It's great having you with us today, sir.
Thanks, Marty. It's a pleasure speaking with the WAOC group.
I guess my first question has to be, how did you get to where you are today? I mean, wow, your early job positions couldn't have been farther from our warehousing world. How about walking us through your history? It's a fascinating story.
You're absolutely right, Marty. Warehousing is far from anything I was used to or had any experience in. My experience was in the financial and auditing industry, where I worked for 12 years. I traveled a lot, got to the point where I traveled almost 80% of the time there throughout the month. And I was looking for a bit of a change that kind of kept me a little bit more home. And then from there, I kind of took up a couple of months off to pursue something different. An opportunity that came up down the road was for the customer service position at a produce company. I thought it through and decided to apply it. I figured I had to start somewhere. I was called in for an interview with the GM. He had reviewed my resume, and he realized that I was kind of overqualified for that position, so that they had offered me at that time. The company was growing and was in need of a lot of help, so he kind of gave me a couple of his thoughts, kind of out of the box. He explained to me with my experience in auditing, I could do really to contribute to the company. In order for me to kind of be able to get up to that higher positions, he kind of, said I had to pretty much basically had to start from the bottom. I thought I did have the experience in the audit, and it was a completely different industry. So he told me pretty much to trust him, and after speaking in details, that's what I did. So just kind of jump into how I started. My first day within the company, I started as a general labor, learning how to repack the produce, such as onions, potatoes, varied packs of tomatoes, and different requirements that each different customers had for the general labor side. I started learning a little bit of the quality assurance on the product. I was fortunate enough to kind of find someone down the road, that kind of mentored me through the way. I was eager to advance and learn and ask a lot of questions. That's something that kind of set the pace for me. Then from there, I learned how to use the equipments such as packing machines, the requirements for the FDA guidelines in regards to barcoding and country of origin. And as different customers had different expectations and different requirements, that was something that is very critical for each customer. Within about a month, I became a lead for that labor line. I started in it, and I was in charge of a group of approximately about 15 people. Pretty much from there, within about 2 months, I became a supervisor and learned other areas such as the warehousing, the expectations, the requirements, and then I was involved in various meetings in regards to how critical were the orders and along with the deadlines. And also in the process, I also learned how to the warehousing, such as using the pallet jacks, the sit-down forklift, and I was in there with the process of 6 months. Then I became a warehouse supervisor. Of course, I had a higher position. Didn't come without any challenges. It came with more responsibilities and issues. At that time, I was in charge of about, I would say about 80 people. And that in the repacking, I was in charge of the repacking, the receiving, the selectors, sanitations, dealing a little bit with transportation with this, which is kind of like the logistics, unloading part of it and building pallets for different orders and deadlines and customers that they requested. I would say out of that, the most challenging was the night shift. That was the hardest challenge of all. due to the high turnover and quality of the people that we had at that time. I eventually took charge, and I guess, from there, I became the director of operations. After working there for a period of almost 2 years, I dedicated my time to improve every day. One of the key things is every position that I took, every task, projects, I took it very seriously. I took it very to heart. And, we started with about 15 employees in the general labor packing. And once I was, in that position of the director of ops, that's how, I think we had about almost 80 people in that repacking, and, the demands were increasing, customers, and et cetera. So I took every project as an position to heart, and did my best to make it better every single day, not only for myself, but to other employees. Just setting the example and being respectful for everybody. It got to a point that, we had over almost 200 employees at that point in that warehousing side of it. And with a lot of, we were trying to work smarter, and better every day, and having that communication. And, it got to a point where, we were working at the same time. After that, pretty much another opportunity came through the national sourcing company where, I am now, and came up with, and kind of began my career, another side of my career, after being involved inside of the warehousing, kind of jumped over to the other side of it, and had another perspective of it. I started as a transition manager, kind of assisting the different customers and meeting their needs, and having that communication with them. So, from there, kind of went from a transition manager to a facility manager, and what I am now, it's a regional facility manager, with this sourcing company that I do.
Very interesting, Rodrigo. Here at WAOC, we're always talking about some of the points that you just mentioned, which was ask those questions, keep learning on your own, raise your hand every time, another position becomes available or another responsibility becomes available. You covered a lot of ground pretty quickly in your career in warehousing. Did you ever get discouraged or wonder where all the hours and struggles were gonna take you, where how they would help you, and where you were going to end up at?
That is very funny, Marty. That's my first day of work. It was kind of discouraging. I worked from 8 a.m. I remember very clearly, and worked a shift of 19 hours. It was a pretty demanding day. A lot of orders that they had that day, and at the end of the day, I'll be honest, nature kicked in, where I was kind of discouraged, but I also had. I remember, the discussions that I had with my management, and the trust that I needed to put in there. So I, kind of invested that, and also trusted my management, and kind of went from there.
Outstanding. Here at WAOC, we've discussed how important it is to get the attention of a recruiter or hiring agent that's interviewing us. Kind of sell ourselves to them, if you will. Would you agree, or have any pointers on how to get their attention? Let them know that we're really interested in the job, and that we do have other aspirations as well?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you have to begin with how you present yourself. Second of all, being respectful. And third of all, show interest in that position if that you're applying for. I think that goes a long way, by, of course, applying, knowing what you're applying for, but also asking the specific questions of the position that you're going to be going for, and showing discipline. Those are the key things whenever you want to show to a recruiter, to get their attention.
I'd agree with all of that. What do you look for in an applicant? Rodrigo himself, what is it that you want to pinpoint, or what do you want to see, that to where we can make that good first impression?
As for myself, I look for, again, being respectful, and also how interested are you in that position. I think that's the thing, of the key thing of, what kind of questions are you asking me? How do you, go on about, what you're applying for? I think that's kind of comes down to it. And, like I said, how do you present yourself on it? So that's kind of like stands out for me. asking those questions, being interested on it, and how you want to continue to grow within your career that you're wanting to, or the career path that you're choosing for. So I think that goes a long way.
Very well. So you have direct responsibility for like 10 facilities, something like that. I assume that'd be like 10 managers and probably 20 something supervisors. What do you ask your soups to look for during the interview process? I know that several of your supervisors are in other cities, possibly even other states. So how do you coach them on what to look for when they're hiring their employees?
One of the first things is make eye contact. That's a key thing, because then you're able to see what kind of responses you're getting, making sure that you make that eye contact. I think that's the first impression, that you can, solidify or make with the person that is applying for the position. Second of all, one of the things that I also ask for the soups is to be honest with them and also let them know of the expectations of the job. And be transparent with it, and also learning how to listen. That's another key thing. You got to learn how to listen to your employees, the questions that they're asking for. So those are the kind of the key things that, you want to look into, but also be honest and transparent with them and about regards to what the expectations is for that specific position, along with hours, job descriptions, and of course, attendance. That goes a long way down the road.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on being transparent and that trust and being honest with your associates. What do you feel that makes a good warehouse employee? What develops a good warehouse employee?
Discipline, that's knowing exactly what you're going to go for, is sticking to the plan. And pretty much, if you don't understand something, asking there's no dumb question to ask. There's any dumb question may end up being the most important question that you can ask for that day. So being disciplined, showing that, you're interested in that position that you have, and also, attendance, those are the key things that you want to be able to kind of makes a good warehouse employee, and being reliable. Those are, it will go a long way for everybody in there.
Exactly. I agree with all of those. We talk a lot about advancement here at WAOC. What do you need to see in a person? I mean, what does it take to take those next steps in our profession, in your opinion?
It's wanting to get in that position, and also wanting to learn that position, and it goes a long way. And also, being reliable. Again, we go back to the attendance part of it, but even your first day is the first impression. Being there on a timely manner, that goes a long way. But also wanting to learn, and of course, asking the questions to the right people, and doing everything that you being asked for. That goes a very long way for everybody, especially for your management.
Very well put. So real quickly, what should we not do? I mean, our listeners don't necessarily just want a job. We're chasing that career, retirement at the end of our path, being happy and financially secure. So what do we not want to do to stay on our career path correctly, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, sticking to a plan, having trust with your management, having that communication, but also don't let those frustrations, as any other job, there's good and bad days. Don't let your frustrations, especially at a young age, we tend to make a lot more mistakes, or those unreasonable decisions. So I think, stick to a plan on it. And also, if you're not happy, then follow that chain of command, talk to your superiors, your peers, get information about it before you make that last call, because I'm sure that as everybody has a lot of responsibilities, has families. So I think, we're asking the right questions a lot of times, or can kind of clear some of the uncertainty. And as I understand, nature kind of kicks in with frustrations, and we tend to pretty crazy decisions at times. But if you just gotta take a few seconds, think about it, and like I said, ask those questions to the right people, to the peers, and then again, follow that chain of command. I think that would go a great. It will look really good on yourself by asking those questions. And if you're unsure, you never know. Leaving the right way, or trying to find the right path. But if you do it the right way, I think it goes a long way. Just because you still leave that door open, and you definitely don't want to close that door, because as down the road you may see that door open again, and then in a different perspective or different position that may come up that might be able to help you.
Human nature. We actually have an episode coming up where we discuss some of that, and you're absolutely correct. Very well put, sir. Any advice or opinions you could give us regarding safety? We're learning that safety is an integral part of every warehouse position, and that it's a great tool of knowledge to get noticed with our bosses or management teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very imperative safety. A very imperative topic there. I think by practicing the right safety, by knowledge, having the knowledge of each area that you're going to be working on. Is spending that time to read every detail and instructions that you're being asked for. That goes a long way, along with practicing those safety practices, just because it may not only save one life, but it may save your own life. I think that's a great tool to have and to know, and to have that knowledge for every position that you go on. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you go home safe. So I think the more safety the more you practice it, the even better, because down the road it may save someone's life or even your own. So that's a great tool to know.
Very good thoughts. Rodrigo, thank you for sharing with us today. I really enjoyed today's discussions. It's so great to hear others' thoughts and opinions about operations. Maybe you'd come back and share individual experiences on some specific topics as we work ourselves into them with other episodes. What do you think?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to it.
That's great. And I'm really looking forward to it as well. And I'd like to thank all of our listeners and ask that you share our podcast with your friends. The more people involved, the greater learning opportunity we all have. Enjoy your week. Be safe. And come back next week. We're going to have a great show and a new year.